It's actually rather ordinary. I saw this story this morning. Aaron Rodgers told prospective Packer free agents, yeah, I'm probably not going to be here. I want you to think about this. So Tom Brady and New England lasted 20 years. Now, Tom's a Martian, so everything lasts longer. It's silly to put him into any of these arguments, but Tom Brady, 20 years in New England. You can go back to the ESPN article 3 years earlier, and there was tension before it ended. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay, at 16 years. It was all good until 3 years ago when he signed that big contract. Then we got tension. Favre and Rodgers, we looked it up this morning, 16 years. But when they drafted Aaron Rodgers about 3.5 years earlier, then you had tension. Big Ben, year 17. Yeah, 3.5 years ago, they drafted Mason Rudolph, and it got real tense in the building. How about the likable, chill Eli Manning? 16 years as the Giants. Yeah, and go back, Google, it's a search engine. Last 3 years, benchings, criticisms, and it got tense. Not just the players, think about those teams. New England, Green Bay, New York Giants, Pittsburgh Blue Bloods. Foundational NFL franchises. It is harder with anxiety. They're not used to it. They have a way of doing business. It's IBM, a little harder to adapt sometimes to the evolution of business and personalities within it. But 13 years of great and harmony, followed by about 3 years of tension, that's the way it works with all sorts of personalities. Now, I do think Aaron's a little more prickly than most, but let's take the 4 quarterbacks I mentioned. Eli Manning, it's like chill, Southern chill, the laid-back brother of an icon. Aaron Rodgers, California cool, kind of condescending. Oh, different personalities. Tom Brady, aspirational, I'll play forever, which is the opposite of Big Ben. I don't even work out in the offseason. You got big city guys, small city guys, little brother guys, want to play forever guys. It's always the same. By the way, Matt Ryan, 13 years in Atlanta, got a little tense this year as they considered drafting a quarterback. You can feel that happening in Atlanta. We went online this morning and looked it up. The average divorce happens after about 8.5 years. But that's after 3 years of dating and a year to a year and a half of engagement. Let's add up the numbers. 8.5 plus 3 plus 1.5 equals 13 years. This is not extraordinary. This is the way it works. Yes, Aaron's hyper-prickly personality and Green Bay's conservative Midwestern cheese hat-wearing ethos was bound to fail. But it doesn't matter if you're laid back like Eli, intense like Tom, beers in a yoga class in the summer like Big Ben, or California cool Aaron. To further my point, who are the 3 greatest Packer quarterbacks of all time? Bart Starr, it lasted 16 years. Brett Favre, it lasted 16 years. Aaron Rodgers, if he's traded this year, will have lasted 16 years. You've been around, you've seen everything. Just bound to happen. Over and over and over. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. Got about 10 more years together. Mahomes will have a few Super Bowls, few injuries. If Andy's still around, he'll be really expensive. They won't want to talk about it, but they'll have to. We're going to draft another quarterback. 13 years in, you hope you get 3 more at the end, maybe a Super Bowl, but it gets tense. It's the way it always works with star quarterbacks. So now there is this belief, I've read multiple stories on this, that Denver is the number 1 team for Aaron Rodgers. That's the number 1 team. Like, it's understood. They have the pieces, they have the draft picks, and they're in a division with great quarterbacks. And in fact, when Mark Schlereth went on the air right before the draft and said Denver, Mark's a very popular talk show host in Denver, Denver has the best package for him. Aaron did not dismiss it. Aaron DM Mark Schlereth. He didn't say you were wrong. He said, let's get lunch soon. Where'd you hear that? And Schlereth said, somebody that has really good contacts that has never been wrong. And so there is this sense Green Bay is just going to get a cachet, a truckload of great picks. I don't think that's true. And for anybody going after Aaron, there's a lot of red flags here. First of all, Denver's general manager, George Payton, is a first-year general manager replacing Elway. He's not getting fired. GM for Green Bay could get fired, but George Payton can strike a hard bargain, even if they finish fourth. Vic Fangio's out, not the general manager. So he doesn't have any inside pressure in Denver. They're going to defend him to the end. Brian Gutekunst in Green Bay got a lot of heat. But I want you to think about the red flags with Aaron. How much would Green Bay get back? Let's do the ABCs of Aaron's issues. He's already gotten a head coach fire. A. Doesn't help him on the market. Some teams just don't want that. He's now working on getting a general manager fired. B. C. He missed half of 2 seasons with an injury. D. He got hurt in week 1 against the Bears and played hurt another year. E. He's expensive. F. He's old, 37. And G. Tom Brady's going to be looking at film in the offseason. He's going to be hosting Jeopardy. Aaron's got a lot of non-football interest going on in his life. Listen, Denver wants him, but should strike an incredibly hard bargain. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers should be rooting for it. What you don't want is when Carmelo Anthony announced, I'm going to be a Knick, and the Denver Nuggets had to trade him. But because Carmelo said, I refuse to play here, the Knicks had to give everything up to get Carmelo. Denver had all the leverage, and Carmelo ended up being a very expensive chandelier in a house with no furniture. Aaron Rodgers has to be careful because what he doesn't want to do is go to Denver, and they've given up their number 2 receiver. They've given up 6 draft picks. What Aaron wants to do is go to a franchise that maybe gives up a couple of first-round picks, but doesn't have to give up any weapons. Denver has leverage. Green Bay doesn't have nearly as much as they think. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, be careful. You want the team you go to win the trade. Don't corner Green Bay. Don't jam them up against the wall. You don't want that. You want the team that gets you. You don't want a Carmelo Anthony. This or that. I'm leaving if I don't. You want the team that gets you to win the trade. Also, it should be noted, if he went to Denver, not only would Aaron Rodgers not be a Super Bowl favorite, they would not be favorites to win their division. Aaron is closer to the Super Bowl in Green Bay this morning than he would be in Denver tomorrow morning. And that's with the current Bronco roster. What if they have to give up multiple pieces? Makes it even harder. All right, so Damian Lillard said something about Kevin Durant, and though it may be true,